Hey, this is Matt B., your dating coach, and welcome to my channel. Watch for some very exciting and informative videos coming in the near future. So, being as this is a dating channel, partly related to getting your ex back or just other relationship issues, as you probably searched through the search engine about, the first topic I chose to discuss is, what should I say to people who question my intention to get back together with my ex? Seeing as you were probably the dumpy if you clicked on this video, that's the point of view I will be going into in this video. Now, I know that this is a bone of contention when you're in this position. Your friends and family tell you all this stuff you doubted about the relationship, if you did, especially towards the end. They tell you can do better, move on, all that stuff. However, they don't really understand the special things that you had or have with your ex. The special way he, she, or they looked at you. The special way you clicked with them. They only know the bad things you told them. If you're a negative person, if you have issues with your attachment style, which I'll go into in future videos, or even have a form of OCD called ROCD, which is relationship OCD, I'll talk about that as well. These all could have influenced you talking badly about the ex who dumped you beforehand. Of course, all of a sudden, with your ego being bruised by the breakup, you go into panic mode. You all of a sudden experience the grass is greener syndrome going through your phone on Tinder if you decide to move on. And then you realize that you see this ex as a unique person in a sea of, let's just say, clones. Something you probably were drawn to them by in the first place, but something you may have taken for granted. You all of a sudden watch all these get your ex back videos on YouTube, go to websites. Hell, if you have money to spend, you even buy an ebook or two or get coaching, and hopefully don't spend too much on that. You may even see these like voodoo spellcasters and try to add them on WhatsApp and pay them ridiculous amounts of money, hopefully not, to put a spell on your ex. But it is that irritating conversation that you are probably having with others that's making you further angry. When you tell a lot of your friends, family, peers, or associates that you wish to reconcile in the future with your ex, they point out your ex's flaws and how you were unhappy in the end of the relationship, if you were. They hem and haw at you in an attempt to get you to move on and see the forest for the trees. Now, I'm not saying that they don't have good points or could be perfectly right in their reasoning. These people, after all, do care about you and have your best interests at heart, no doubt. But seeing as they saw the relationship or the end of it from only your point of view makes them biased. Also, their own personal history can make them biased. If it's your uncle who has been divorced 7 times by 45 years old and he's telling you this advice, I would then take less credence than in your friend who has been married 25 years in a happy, or at least relatively happy, stable marriage. All relationships have problems and even go through bumpy roads. You may even know someone who has broken up before and gotten back together once to be married and are still married. I've known people like that. I've known couples, parents of girlfriends that have had situations like that happen, family. You may also know couples who do break up and get back together periodically or constantly. It really depends on the situation and the parties involved. Your friends and family only have seen one side, often, a lot of the time. So it's not like you're in court and they're being presented all of the evidence. They only know this one side in this situation. And if you're saying you want to get back together with your ex, there are reasons that these other people may not know or even understand. So what should you say to people who question your intentions with wanting to get back together with an ex? It's pretty simple, actually. I would definitely acknowledge their concern, even concede a lot of their points. They're probably correct at least in some respects. The next thing that you should say is that people can be wrong, and that includes you. That is, if you were saying a lot of negative things about the relationship towards the end. And that maybe you've had some epiphanies about the situation. Tell them the positive things about your ex and the relationship. And if you are learning about yourself and find out about attachment styles or any kind of mental illnesses that you may have or any kind of mental blocks that were harming the relationship, and if you feel open to telling your friends or family that are questioning you about these things, then I would go right ahead, of course. Also, I would say you should definitely get therapy as well and talk about these subjects. So you would want to acknowledge your faults in the situation and tell the friends and family that are questioning you that you want to fix these things in this situation. You value your ex way too much to let them go. I would tell these people that are questioning you about your intentions that they weren't there. You may have been responding to stress. You may have been responding to how the relationship was going, and you might have lashed out. It's a complicated thing with regards to these things. So you basically had reasons for saying the things you did if they were negative about the relationship when it was going on, if you did. I can extrapolate in that case that if you've had similar issues with relationships before and have made similar complaints about previous relationships before, remind them that it's you that have been having these issues more than once, and you want a chance to fix it with someone that you had the same issue with. You should also tell them, obviously, it's not their business. You have to make your own choices in life. That includes mistakes. And you're an adult, and then you may even want to change the subject. They may or may not understand, but at the same time, I would say you need to live your own life. People who care about you definitely have good intentions, but you have your own reasons for wanting your ex back. And if it's wrong in the first place, once you get back together and it fails, at least you learned a lesson. So I think, this subject, I've heard people talk about this before and say these things to people about how you should move on. And there's a lot of comments on Reddit or on Facebook or YouTube or whatever about should never take an ex back, their exes for a reason, all this stuff. And this is kind of like, I don't know. This video is kind of like my response to some of that, because people have a lot of people are complicated. It's not something you can just tell that to people. You could give your side, and you should. If you were questioning a relationship when you're in it, and then all of a sudden when you get dumped in this situation, you're just wanting this ex back so bad, that is suspect, obviously. But obviously it's also suspect if you're questioning relationships in general all the time that you're in, when you're in them. So I think it's a very complicated subject to think about. So, your friends and family question you about your intentions, but you need to just keep a critical, objective eye towards, and ears towards these types of situations. Because I think otherwise, if you can have these intentions to want to get back together with your ex, and it's just a natural kind of thing, especially if you neglected the relationship or you were kind of the problem because you're avoidant, of course you're going to be, unless you're just totally did not value it at all, you're going to want to fight for it, So that's kind of what I had to say about that subject. I don't think people are always very sensitive to some of these ideas. It's a lot like it's a lot of fluff that people give to people to make them more comfortable or to tell them, what they should, I mean, they tell them what they should do, but like, for example, like it's always that old thing that people say to people that haven't had a relationship or haven't had one for a long time. Oh, you should just wait and you'll meet someone, don't try to look. It's just a lot of these different, almost like folk tales that people spread, a lot of these sayings or slogans or whatever you want to call it, X's are X's for a reason. Don't look for a relationship. There's a lot of these things that they're floating around, these, I guess you would call them memes, not like an internet meme, but they're like mental memes that people have about these situations. And we got to question them because they're too rigid. They're too black and white. They're too simplistic. There's a lot of different types of situations. So that's all I'm saying with this video. I think that you need to make up your own mind and you need to learn your own lessons. And if you really think that getting back together with an ex is for the highest good for you and the other person, then maybe that should be something that you intend upon doing. Oftentimes we just get caught up with what other people think and what other people say without using our own mind and our own mental capacities to think about things from an objective point of view. And even though it's controversial to a lot of people just to say, oh, maybe I just want to follow my own heart and my own mind instead of listening to other people and what they have to say about things, because they don't know everything. And they don't know the reasons a lot of the time that things fall apart fully, or they guess the reasons, or they assume. Of course, your friends and family know you pretty well, but they don't know everything. So that's all I got to really say in this video. Please subscribe and share this video, and I will have some surprises coming up. And check the low bar of the video. I have some contact information if you want to receive some coaching as well. I have some information in the low bar on how to get some email coaching. I look forward to hearing from you and helping you out, and hope that all your relationships go great. Talk to you later.